I'm sharing my top small cap altcoin plays for 2024 and 2025. 3 different crypto projects that are really small today, but I believe have a ton of potential to grow over the course of this bull cycle, including one that has flown under most people's radar, but that has Brian Armstrong as the co-founder of this project. And if you aren't familiar with who Brian Armstrong is, he's the founder of Coinbase. First up, we have Perion's Perk token. This is a crypto gaming project, but it's not a game or a gaming studio. Instead, it's a DAO that invests in early stage games and studios, getting access to deals that average people can't get access to. And their portfolio includes things like Shrapnel, Off the Grid, Lunchbox Entertainment, Heroes of Mavia, Metalcore, Mere Planet, Sidious Heroes, Delusion, Paragon, and a ton more. They also are an equity holder in a ton of crypto gaming game studios. Again, something that the average person today doesn't have access to. So I can buy Perion's Perk token as a way to get exposure to their portfolio of crypto games, but as well as a way to get exposure to their portfolio of crypto gaming studios that they invested into early stage. They also, on top of that, have built 2 products within the crypto gaming space. One's called XP and the other's called FanPlay. FanPlay is a way to bet on chain on different crypto gaming outcomes. And XP is a gaming social media platform. I believe personally that crypto gaming is going to be huge this cycle. And I have a full video on my channel where I dive into the Perk token and crypto gaming as a whole if you want to go deep. In that video, I also share a few other gaming projects as well that I have really high conviction in. Today, the market cap for Perion's Perk token is just $13 million. That means if it were to grow at the height of the bull market to the size of Immutable, where Immutable is today, that would be a 307x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $307,000. Currently, Perion's Perk token isn't listed on any major exchanges like OKX, it's not listed on Coinbase, it's not listed on Binance, Kraken, etc. Meaning that if it eventually gets a listing on any of these platforms, that's going to open it up to an entire new sector of buyers, allowing the price to go much, much higher. I've done an entire podcast interview with the founder of Perion if you're interested on my podcast, the Never Die podcast. My base case for Perion is that we'd see it hit somewhere around $50 million in market cap, which that would be about a 4x from today's prices. And that's just based off their current treasury holdings. Like I mentioned, they have early stage seed deals with a lot of these gaming projects and gaming studios, and that's based on these assets performing very conservatively. My bull case for Perion would be that we see a pretty insane crypto gaming bull run. All in my opinion that we need to see a massive mania around the crypto gaming space is just for one single crypto game to take off and gain some mainstream adoption. Last cycle, we saw just a small glimpse of what that might look like with something like Axie Infinity, which wasn't really that fun of a game. And overall, it was just a really basic concept for what crypto gaming could be. This cycle, we have games that have been building for multiple years. They've had multi-million-dollar budgets to build. And a lot of these gaming studios that are building in the crypto gaming space right now are actual gaming studios that have experience building AAA games like Call of Duty, etc. So I think the odds are actually really high that we see at least one breakout hit. We have hundreds of crypto games coming to market this year and next year. I think the odds are high that we see at least one breakout hit in the space. And if we do, I think, again, it's going to cause an entire crypto gaming mania. And in that scenario, I could see Perion going as high as $700 million in market cap. Yield Guild Games did this during the last cycle, and I think Perion could be like somewhat comparable to something like Yield Guild Games. That would be a 53x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $53,000. My ultra bullish case would be that not only do we see crypto gaming just absolutely skyrocket during this cycle, but that some of the games or gaming studios in Perion's portfolio end up doing really, really well. Maybe one of them is the breakout hit that gets mainstream adoption, or maybe it's just like a really, really popular game within the space, and those tokens appreciate a lot in value. Coinciding with that, we see Perion's Perk token maybe get listed on an exchange like Coinbase, Binance, etc. In this scenario, maybe it's possible that we see Perion's Perk token go as high as something like Axie Infinity did last cycle, which is around $10 billion in market cap. That'd be a 769x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $769,000. That last scenario, again, is obviously my ultra bullish Hail Mary scenario. That's like the best possible outcome, in my opinion. Again, my base case for Perion would be about $50 million market cap, which is a lot more reasonable, a lot smaller. So it's more of a spectrum of possibilities to give you an idea of kind of where I think it could land. The token for Perion is the Perk token. It's not listed on any exchanges, so you have to buy it on chain on Ethereum. My second small cap crypto token that I'm excited about for this bull run is Index. Index Coop is index funds on chain. And they already have a range of different crypto indexes that are available for people to buy into, including the DeFi Pulse Index, which aims to track the performance of some of the largest protocols in DeFi. Basically, imagine someone who's heard about DeFi, they want to invest, but they don't have the technical expertise to know what to buy. So instead, they buy something like the DeFi Pulse Index. By buying this index, they get exposure to Maker, Uniswap, Aave, Lido, Synthetics, Rocket Pool, ETH, and more, with the allocations being expertly balanced with the bigger positions in things like Maker and Uniswap, and smaller positions in things like Balancer and Rocket Pool. The index is balanced every quarter and updated, ensuring they always are exposed to the optimal assets, all without you having to understand all these complex concepts. The fee the protocol captures on this is 0.95%, which goes to the index coup treasury. They have funds like the Diversified Staked ETH Index, which is an index of various liquid staked tokens for staked ETH. They also have launched a large cap index of the top 10 crypto assets by market cap, excluding stablecoins. These are obviously all really exciting, cool, interesting products. But there's a new concept coming out of Index that's got me really excited about the future of this project. And this new concept's called PRTs. They allow early depositors for an index product to receive revenue from the product over the lifetime of that particular index. The first product that they're launching with this new model of PRTs is the High Yield ETH Index. It includes things like Pendle EETH, Pendle RS ETH, Across WETH, and a ton more. Early depositors deposit WST ETH to receive PRTs for this index. So PRTs are basically a way to incentivize bootstrapping for these indexes. It gets a bunch of liquidity into these indexes. And as a reward for being early adopters and providing this liquidity, they get PRTs or a portion of the revenue that comes over the lifetime of these indexes. A portion of these PRTs also go, of course, obviously to the index coup treasury, allowing that to accrue value as well. I think this is a really interesting and unique model that can garner a lot of attention. At bare minimum, it makes it a lot easier for Index to launch new products and bootstrap liquidity by incentivizing people by saying, hey, you're going to get a portion of this revenue. Taken even further, though, it could be a new token model or a new concept within the crypto space that could unlock entirely new things within the crypto space as a whole. Currently, the market cap for Index is just $35 million. My base case for Index would be that we'd see it hit around $100 million at the height of this cycle. That's a little under a 3x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $3,000. My bull case for Index would be that we see some actual demand for some of these index products. In my opinion, there's a strong case for various wallets and various chains to natively integrate index products into their own products, making it easier for their users to access some of these things that they traditionally maybe couldn't access. For example, with a wallet, this makes it a lot easier for a user to get on chain and start investing into things that maybe they don't quite yet understand, where they're not able to do all the research into like what DeFi tokens to buy. They can just buy this index directly from their wallet without having to go and search and find it. In traditional markets, index funds are huge. They're massive. They're some of the biggest products in the traditional market space. So it makes sense that in crypto, especially with crypto being a lot more complex, eventually we'll see index-like products on chain take over the space where people are like, hey, I don't want to do research into all these things. I don't want to understand all the different tokens on Solana I have to buy or all the different tokens on Ethereum I have to buy. I just want to buy an index and somebody do that work for me. It's also worth noting the index already happens to be listed on Coinbase. So it's really easy for retail to buy. So especially when we see a lot more retail show up into the space, that's one of the tokens they can easily access and easily pour liquidity into, meaning that they don't have to actually go on chain to buy the index token. They could bet on it just directly from the Coinbase exchange, allowing it to see a lot more price appreciation because they don't have to overcome that technical hurdle of actually getting on chain. So in this scenario, my bull scenario, I think it wouldn't be insane to say that index could hit a market cap of $1 billion. That'd be a 28x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $28,000. My ultra bull case would be that we see index funds radically successful over this next cycle, meaning that they see wide adoption and use. And I think there's something to be said about the current meme coin mania. A lot of people are buying meme coins, I think, because it's super easy. For example, like you don't have to do a ton of research or understand a bunch of technical things about crypto in order to buy a meme coin. You just need to understand if you think it's funny or you think it's not funny. In the same vein, maybe this cycle we see users jumping into index funds because they're equally as easy. You don't have to do a bunch of research into what DeFi products to buy or what tokens to buy. You can just buy an index of a narrative you think is going to be popular, like crypto AI tokens, or an index of crypto gaming tokens, etc. In this scenario, my ultra bullish Hail Mary, like best case scenario, I think we could see something like Index hit something around $30 billion in market cap. That'd mean 857x, turning every $1,000 invested into $857,000. That's the high end of the spectrum, like the best case outcome I'm talking about. That is not my like default, like, oh, it's gonna go that high. It's just like it could. Maybe that's the highest point that I see it swinging if everything goes perfectly and it's just like, wow, the absolute best outcome. My personal gut take is I think that index funds are inevitable. I think eventually they are going to be a major part of the crypto space, especially when it comes to on-chain products. But I don't know if we're going to see it happen this cycle. I have a hard time believing, like, or saying matter of fact, like the index funds are going to be huge this cycle. I have another really awesome low cap play coming up, but really quick. In 1 week on April 22nd at 9 a.m. EST, I'm opening back up the Obsidian Councils to 100 new members. The Obsidian Council is my private research community where I share monthly research, my entire portfolio updated monthly, buy and sell alerts when I jump into projects, and a ton more. We've had projects like Akash, which is up over 1,700% since sharing it, projects like Pendle, which is up over 776%, projects like Lake, which is up over 1,200%, and a ton more, including Index, which is up over 222% since first sharing it originally in the Obsidian Council. We also have the airdrop guide, which some members have made over $26,000 last year alone from airdrops, covering their membership for literally decades. I personally made well over 100K between this year and last, and I share everything I'm personally doing with airdrops with the community via the monthly airdrop guide. If you missed out and want to be able to jump in next time it opens on April 22nd, there's a waitlist in the description of this video. Again, I'm only letting in the first 100 signups. After that, I'll close it back down again. So you have to sign up for the waitlist and be ready to join on the 22nd at 9 a.m. EST. Typically it sells out an hour, so definitely watch out for that email and make sure to sign up. Last up is Research Hub. Maybe the most important note about Research Hub is one of its founders is Brian Armstrong, the guy that founded Coinbase. And Research Hub already has a token today, and we'll get into that in a second. Research Hub is a DeSci project, and DeSci stands for decentralized science. And decentralized science, in my opinion, is actually one of the coolest use cases for crypto that there is. Science today has a research, publishing, reputation, and funding problem. Scientific culture today is oriented towards this publish or perish mindset. Academics are judged based on how many papers they publish to reputable journals. And journals are oriented towards only publishing exciting and positive results. Then there's the fact that most research is funded by corporate or government grants. Both consist of really small groups of decision makers who get to decide what gets funded and what doesn't. This leads to researchers who need to get paid and feed their families having to tailor their research towards things that are going to get funded by these governments and by these corporate entities, rather than getting to openly explore ideas that could better all of humanity. This means there's a wide variety of ideas, technologies, and medical breakthroughs that never see funding, because they aren't deemed profitable or important enough to receive funding by these governments and corporations that dictate where the funding goes. The overall point being that current scientific culture has become very bureaucratic and bloated, and DeSci, or decentralized science, hopes to fix that. Crypto is really great at funding ideas, even absolutely absurdly bad ideas. Crypto is just a really great global funding mechanism. And imagine if it was directed towards funding a lot of this good research. DeSci also hopes to create a better and more transparent process for publishing research and contributing to research by using the blockchain. And in general, DeSci hopes to create better tools for scientific coordination among many different groups of people. This is where Research Hub comes in. It aims to help fix these problems and usher in a new era of open science. Now, obviously, this is a really complex and tough problem to crack, but they happen to have one of the most capable founders in the world helping them along with the process. That is Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. In fact, he proudly states that he's the co-founder of Research Hub in the bio of his Twitter. And again, to really emphasize that he's not just an investor in Research Hub. You can see that in the bio of his Twitter, he lists himself as the founder of Coinbase and the co-founder of Research Hub. Now, I don't know about you, but I would assume when you have one of the biggest names in crypto as the co-founder of a project that happens to already have a token, that project would already be pretty massive. Surprisingly though, it's currently a really tiny project sitting at just $54 million in market cap. Last cycle, I got into a project when it was at $50 million in market cap. It ended up skyrocketing and I was able to turn $760 into over $150,000. $56 million in market cap is minuscule for the quality of the team and the quality and potential of this project or concept. The token for Research Hub is the RSC token, or research coin. And to be honest, I would be bullish on this project with or without Brian Armstrong being involved. In my opinion, I really genuinely think that DeSci is just going to be a huge thing. I did an entire DeSci video if you really want to do a deep dive on the current problems plaguing science and the benefits or the potential of DeSci as a movement. But to summarize, it's still really early days for DeSci, and it could end up being one of the most impactful sectors of crypto as a whole. Base case is that RSC goes to around $700 million in market cap, in my opinion. That's about a 13x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into around $13,000. My bull case is that RSC and DeSci as a whole really catches a narrative this cycle. People start to understand it. They start to understand the potential of crypto and open science and in the space in general. And it really gets people excited about the potential of what DeSci could do. In that case, I could see RSC going to around $20 billion in market cap. That's about a 370x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $370,000. My ultra bullish case would be that on top of all of that, DeSci catches as a narrative outside of the crypto space. People outside of the space are like, wow, this is amazing. I can see the potential of this. In the same way, sort of the NFTs caught last cycle. Like outside of crypto, NFTs became widely popular. Gary Vee was like talking about NFTs on every talk show, etc. And a lot of people got really into NFTs. Well, in that same way, like obviously they're not going to be like going and contributing to it necessarily, but in that same way, the wider population recognizes that DeSci has a ton of potential. And this would be like my ultra bullish outcome. In this scenario, I think we could see RSC go as high as $80 billion. That's a 1,481x from here, turning every $1,000 invested into $1.4 million. I am really bullish on this project and just DeSci as a whole and as a concept. And just as a side note, this is another early project that I originally shared with the Obsidian Council. When I shared this project with the Obsidian Council, it was only $34 million in market cap. Now I have a fourth small cap token that I'm really excited about. It's a Farcaster token similar to something like DGen. DGen was an airdrop that I got from using Farcaster, and when I got it, it was around $2,000. I remember being kind of upset at the time because I'm like, if I'd have jumped on this right when it came out, it was around $5,000 and I could have sold and made $5,000. Instead, I ended up claiming it a little bit later and it was worth only $2,000. And the next day I checked it, it was around $1,000. I was like, great. And my understanding of it was DGen was kind of like a meme coin. And I was like, should I sell this? It's $1,000. But I ended up not selling it and just holding on to it. Well, today that airdrop now is worth almost $60,000. And recently I found another Farcaster token that's really, really tiny today. This fourth token though is so tiny that it's too small for me to share on my YouTube channel where I have 200,000 subscribers. That would just be ridiculous. It would pump really hard, but then it would end up crashing on the other side. And since I'm holding this for the long term, I don't want to do anything to the token that would cause it to like not have a good outcome. I'd rather rely on the long-term fundamentals that I think will allow this project to succeed and just see that play out. So instead, I'm going to be releasing it via my new newsletter. I know a lot less people are going to end up taking the time to sign up for this thing. I know a lot less people even just made it to this stage in the video. So there's going to be a lot less people that are going to see this project and be able to jump in. It's called the Never Die newsletter, and it's basically just going to be links to like the various content I put out for each week. So like my YouTube video when I upload it, my podcast, it'll just be like an email like, hey, this is the content that I made for the week. It's kind of a way for me to disconnect from the algorithm so that I'm not like always victim to like having to appease the algorithm and put out content that's like super stupid and makes YouTube happy or whatever. I've already kind of been doing this. I've been tailoring my content less and less to the algorithm, just kind of making the stuff that I want to make and the content I think is valuable and actually like helpful. So I'll be releasing that fourth token via the newsletter in the next 2 weeks. The newsletter sign up can be found in the description of this video, as well as the sign up for the Obsidian Council if you want to jump on the waitlist and get into that. As always, none of this was investment advice. None of this was me telling you to go buy these projects. You should always do your own research, and blindly copying YouTubers is literally the worst way to invest on the planet, and you're going to end up getting wrecked and losing all your money if that's all you're doing on here. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. This one's really important. If you have any low cap cryptos you think are just absolute gems, let me know in the comments below and give me like a reason why. Don't just say, oh, this one's a really good one. Give me a reason like, I like this project because of this, and this is why it has potential. Let me know in the comments. I actually look through these things and add them to my research list, and sometimes I end up jumping into them. Some of the best projects I've ever found, I have found in the comment section of my YouTube channel. So put those in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.